And we are live with Mr. Justin Barney. How are you?
I'm fabulous. It is Friday.
Okay.
It's beautiful out here. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I'm going to tell you, I've been looking forward to this live because I get to put you under some serious pressure, and not a lot of people get to do that to the one and only CRO of ThousandEyes. So thank you.
Well, I'm honored. I've been looking forward to this as well too. I've been waiting my turn
That's
to
right.
step up to
That's
the
right.
stage. So this is my 15 minutes.
That's it. 15 minutes of fame. Like I said,
Yeah,
about 1 million views, and then you're dead to me. So
that's 999,999 more than I usually get.
they're gonna love it. They're gonna love it.
Okay,
But
awesome.
I always like to start off because maybe, there's some people who don't know you. Um, so for those who don't know you, let me give a little bit of background, and then I want to hear from you too, because I'm sure I'm going to leave out a whole bunch of stuff. You're the CRO of ThousandEyes, a Cisco company. You've
Yeah.
been the CEO from, startups and led, engineering, you've led product. I mean, you've seen all sides of the business from, startup, ground up, all the way up to these massive tech companies like Cisco. I mean, you are the Silicon Valley tech guy, right? You're the tech leader that when we think of, no, truly, and you've seen so many parts of the business. So before we get into it, because I do want to talk about that, particularly how you do unpopular decisions and things like that. So before we get into that, is there anything for those who don't know you that they should know about you?
Uh, I usually like to talk about other people more than myself. In a nutshell, I started my career on Wall Street. I was a finance undergrad at the University of Colorado. Go Buffs! Then I went to grad school and I switched. This was during the first internet boom. I switched to high tech, went out to Silicon Valley, and basically have been doing tech companies for 25 years. Mostly that was in startups, mostly all of it pretty much in sales. I did have a 4-year run as a CEO of a startup. And that is where I got to experience owning engineering and owning product and owning marketing and owning operations and the whole thing. And so generally though, I'm a CRO but I make a very, very strong partner with either the entrepreneur or the CEO because I've been in their shoes before. And so usually a very, very strong relationship, which I like to carry in. But I've been at 2 startups that were acquired. So I spent time at Citrix, I spent time at Juniper, and now I'm at Cisco Systems, which is a fantastic company filled with great people. Been here for about 5.5 years, and have the honor and privilege of being the CRO for Cisco ThousandEyes, and it's a lot of fun. Great,
Yeah, it is.
fantastic product market fit. So
It's a good team. I mean, you guys are doing some really neat stuff, but you've had to make some tough decisions. I mean, there's no easy way about it, given the roles that you've had and the role that you have right now. You have put yourself in the position of sometimes making really unpopular decisions that, obviously based on the success of your career have panned out well, or at least more than not. A lot of people though join, self-help or different communities or things like that. And I'm finding that they overcomplicate success or decision making. So I'd love to hear, like, from your perspective, how do you make unpopular decisions? What does that look like? Do you have a process you go through? Do you have a sort of a committee or a board that you go to? What does that look like for you?
great question. So I think, look, everyone in life, I always try and boil it down to the core human being. We all have to make tough decisions in our life, whether it's work or personal. Anytime you become a people manager, you're going to have to make tough decisions. Sometimes they're popular, sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
The hardest ones are the ones that are unpopular, but it just goes with the territory. And when you've been doing this for 25 years, it just unfortunately becomes muscle memory in order to do that, because we don't live in a stagnant world, especially in technology. So I think first and foremost, like even before the decision comes, it's around building great teams with great people. And that starts with before you even start hiring or when you get into a new company, just making sure that everyone that you hire is actually better than you, that challenges you, that, gets you, has different points of view. We're very big on diversity, equity, and inclusion here at Cisco, and I think that is actually a competitive advantage. But you don't want to have yes people, and you don't want to have the same type of people, and you want to have really good, strong, talented people. When you have that core, obviously you hire A players, they hire A players and down, and all of a sudden you have a team like we have at ThousandEyes, which is just a fantastic team within a fantastic company. Then when you make those unpopular decisions, it goes down to, okay, what is the reasoning behind the decision? Having a sound business case. I don't rush to make decisions, although I do keep in mind perfection is the enemy of progress. And if you're not making mistakes, it means you're not moving fast enough. But you need to have a really strong business case for the conversation, for the decision that you're making. And I will generally counsel members of my team on that and get their input. And I always solicit input. I just promise that I won't necessarily use it. But I always want to make sure that the smart people that are on my team have a chance to weigh in and give their input, because I don't want to claim to be the smartest human being on the planet. I am absolutely not the smartest person on the planet. So I like to seek counsel. I like to have a strong business case. And then when you have to implement the decision, it's being very clear and transparent on why you're making the decision. This is what's affected. This is who's affected, if people are affected. And you just have to make it short and sweet and get it done and not belabor it and get it implemented and move forward. And it sucks, especially for first-time people managers that have to make hard choices, or anyone, whether it's first-line manager or someone at my level. It's just about making the choice, having a business case, and then getting it implemented. And what I have found is that when you follow that, generally 9 times out of 10, you look back and it was absolutely the right choice. And even when sometimes it does affect people, you look back and it turns out it was probably the right thing. And so, I think that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's no magic bullet, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think one of the hard parts, there's 2 things that you talked about there. One is surrounding yourself with the right people, the right team, the right advisors, the right resources, whatever that looks like. That's consistently been something that, in working with and now interviewing literally the world's top leaders for the last couple of years now, it's a very consistent habit of top performing leaders is the folks that they surround themselves, even in their private life. We show up as people who we are as leaders. We show up based on who we are in our private life. That kind of bleeds through. People can read through that. And I think
For sure.
the more you can surround yourself with really intelligent, and quick people who can make decisions quickly, but also understand the context and conversation that you're having, is really a fundamental game changer between high performing leaders, especially when you've got to make really tough decisions. Everybody's in it right now, especially as we're trying to figure out, okay, what does AI look like, for the enterprise or for, our organization based on where you are? What does security look like right now? What are all the different parts of our business are really complex and require sacrifice on other parts of the business. So, as people are making those decisions, having the right, like you said, having the right team, making a decision fast. How do you balance, because you're talking about, getting enough information, talking to your team, how do you balance sort of the information gathering and analysis with execution and this is what it is, gang, let's go?
Well, I think if you've got a good handle on your business, you kind of always have a certain base level understanding of what's going on, both out there with your team as well as just the underlying fundamentals of the business. So there should always be a certain level of information that you already have. Also, like, generally I find it's not like something happens and then overnight you need to make a decision and make an unpopular or hard decision. Like, I mean, maybe sometimes, but usually things don't happen like that. They'll start to lead up to it. Things will start to go a certain way. They'll be, it'll be telegraphed to you as a leader. And so, weighing how fast you go to make that decision really depends on the situation, right? If it is something that popped up and overnight you need to scramble for whatever reason, then you don't have enough time. But you also know the longer you go without making a decision, that can actually start to be detrimental to your entire business and to your entire team sometimes as well too. Like if you just leave things hanging out there. So it's it's a balance. You have to strike the right balance, but it probably depends on the type of situation that's arisen.
That's fair.
Yeah, and then just over time and having gone through the gamut, ups and downs and stuff. Like I said, unfortunately, it starts to become muscle memory for a while, and then you just go.
Yeah, I think the biggest part to your point is collect the information, but then execute.
Make a decision.
If you don't, yep.
Seek counsel. That could be from a couple people, could be on your team, could be from a mentor or a coach as well. Just bounce it off and then make a decision and go.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, completely agree. So
I'm sure you had to do it building your own companies too.
Try doing it during a pandemic. I do not recommend it. I do not. Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But I think that's just part of leadership. I mean, it's what we sign up for. It's Frank Palumbo, I think, that said if it was easy, we'd post it on a dog and, send him in to do it.
That's right. That's right.
These roles are for people who, kind of like the nonstop of it, kind of like the tough parts of the job. I don't know. I think it's just the personality, maybe.
I always joke if sales were easy, they would fire all the salespeople. Why have them around? Not an easy job though. Not an easy job, but a fun one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is a good time. I want to kind of the flip. Well, you know what? Let me not put the negative spin on it. So that I am a big fan, I'll call it, of fear. Fear forward has been kind of my recent last couple of years epiphany, if you will, and I've been spreading the word. I want to know from your leadership lens, given your background, your extensive background, what you're building now, all of that. How do you handle and how often do you encounter fear in your roles, like in leadership? Is that the right word? Does it come up for you or not really?
Not probably the right word for me.
Okay.
Everybody has a different definition. I don't know if I ever fear anything. However, I get nervous, right? Anxious may not be the right word, but I definitely feel challenged. I think it's that I know where I want to get to. I know where I am today. How do I get from here to there?
Yeah.
And, generally I think what I'm hearing you say and I get the gist of it is I don't really exactly know how I'm going to get from here to there. I have a general idea and I'm going to build a plan and I'm going to rally a large team with hundreds and hundreds of people to march in unison towards where we need to go. But there's a lot of uncertainties. What if this happens? What if that happens? And that sort of nervous excitement. If you don't have that, I mean, that's what kind of makes you feel alive, right? It's like, okay, like, let's go. I am going to put myself out there. I'm going to make a couple of bets. I'm going to paint a vision. I'm going to rally the team.
Yep.
And I'm going to try and get everybody going towards that. And if it doesn't make you a little nervous, right? I think that's what you mean, like having a little bit of fear there. Like, I don't exactly know how we're going to pull this off. I just probably wouldn't use the term fear, but it's the same principle. I mean, that's what gets me up in the morning. and gets me fired up to go to work and see, like, we've got a vision of where we want to go. For us, it's about providing assurance to all of the hundreds of thousands of customers and delighting them and making their lives easier and letting business function smoother for the global economy. And like, we love doing that. So and I know exactly where I want to go in the next 2 to 3 years, and I think I've got a pretty good feeling of how we're going to do that. But I know there's going to be a lot of things that pop up along the way. Things like pandemics or supply chain crises or tariffs. Who knows? Right.
Who knows? That's right.
Stuff I don't control.
You said something so critical, and there was a study done on this that I just think is fascinating. You said excitement. So they interviewed a bunch of Olympic athletes before going out, right before they were about to go out, whatever their sport was. And they said, essentially, how do you feel? And some people said nervous, some people said scared, some people said excited. The people who said nervous, scared, whatever it might be before they went out still would win a medal, bronze, whatever. But more times than not, the folks who would say I'm excited would win the gold. How about that?
Interesting.
Right?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's it. It's you should feel nervous. You should. I don't. Again, anxiety is such a bad negative term, so I try not to use the word anxiety. But there should be a little bit of anxiousness around, like, I want to get there. But like, that's what makes us feel alive, right? Like that's actually why I actually really enjoy working. But yeah, and if you have that excitement, generally that's more of a positive spin. And work is a big portion of our lives. It shouldn't be all of our life, but it's a big portion of it. And I really truly believe you should try and wake up and have fun every day.
Yeah.
It won't happen every day. You will not have fun every day. And there are certainly days where I'm like, this, woof. But I think with excitement, that to me is a much more positive, like, let's go out and let's do this.
Right.
We don't exactly know the exact path it will take, but we have a good feeling. Now let's go.
See, that's something unique too, and very wise, which is you don't have every step just coordinated, because then if we have one misstep, it almost derails everything. So you've got to allow some flexibility in the plan to adjust, because it's going to be necessary. There's just no way around it. They're long gone are the days of the 5-10-year plan, and that's what we're sticking to.
Yeah. Could you imagine having 5 years from now? I have no idea. 5 years ago, if you had said, maybe right before the pandemic, been like, okay, what's the next 5 years going to look like? You'd look at that and be like, wrong.
Yeah.
I'm still here, so that's good. Step one.
You got that one right. There you go.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So, all right, last question, because we always 20 minutes goes so fast.
It does.
And I have to say thank you for letting me ask these questions. These are not
and unscripted too, by the way. Unscripted. We didn't look at anything. We didn't.
Completely raw, completely unscripted. I think that's the mark of a true leader. You live this stuff. You know this stuff. It doesn't have to be scripted.
Gray hair.
That's all the knowledge coming out. That's what it is.
Yeah. Funny. Yeah, wisdom. That's one way to put it. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
No, so I want to talk about, again, you've seen it all. You're the Silicon Valley tech leader that people think of when they're looking to put people on boards, and when they're looking to decide how they, make a big launch, take a big product, grow a big team, region, or globally. You're the guy. So that also means that you've seen a lot of maybe ways not to do it. I would love to know, in your perspective, you don't have to name names, although if you want to, this could turn into that kind of podcast real quick. No, I'm kidding. But I want to know, what do you think is that barrier or that threshold between like good leaders and truly exceptional leaders? What makes again, you don't have to name names, but the folks who just help change the world, whatever that looks like?
That's a great question. I've worked with some exceptional entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley over the last 25 years.
Yeah.
And I just think that there is a very top 0.1% of people who are just exceptional, like entrepreneurs, visionaries that can execute, that can take zero to, you know, whatever, billions and billions, and continue to evolve. And so one thing is, I think, especially in technology, you have to evolve like
Yeah.
continuously, because I can go back 15 years ago and say, here's what it's like to build a great sales team, great global sales team. If I took that same playbook now, like it wouldn't work. It
Right.
wouldn't work. The world is very different. Like everything is software and subscription, and customers think about buying differently. They buy differently. They
Mhm.
derive value differently. And now with AI, like it's all changing very
Yeah.
rapidly. How customers discover new technologies, how technologies get deployed, time to value. I mean, gosh, that's a whole nother pod we could get into
Yeah.
if we wanted to. So I think, quick answer, there's like exceptional leaders who are just born and they have a maniacal focus, like
Mm.
the focus and drive, and they work all the time. Like
Yeah.
workaholics, unashamedly
Yeah.
workaholics.
Yeah.
And then there's just a pot of like really, really great leaders. And, there's a guy named Al Montserrat who's been my mentor and friend for a long, long time.
Mm.
I put him in that category. Everyone should have an Al Montserrat, by the way.
That's right.
And there, again, I think it goes back to one, you got to care about people. It really does come
Mm.
down to like, I care about people, and I love it when I mentor people and I see them coming up just like I did.
Yeah.
You have to care about technology. If you sell technology, I'm a huge advocate of that. Like you need to really think what you sell is cool,
Yeah.
and why your customers need it. And then the third part is just evolution, right? Is evolving as the tech landscape evolves and our customers evolve. Like you have to be able to change and adapt and never stop learning. That's
Yeah.
the key. Like I'm always trying to figure it out. I never assume that I've got it all figured out, because I guarantee you I don't. I probably never will. So I'm always just trying to pick up stuff and evolve my game as well too. And be humble. Be humble. Huge. Be humble.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
no reason humans should not be humble. It's too easy to get humbled in life.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, life has a way of doing that to you if you don't do it for yourself. Isn't that truth? Yeah. But you're right.
Yeah.
Some of the best leaders, and Sonny Giandani comes to mind. She's kind of my Al, if you will. Just
Yeah.
somebody I look up to so much. It's so brilliant, has built and sold multiple companies for billions of dollars, and just like you said, so maniacally focused, surrounds herself with an impeccable team.
Yeah.
What's interesting, and there's, people say leave egos at the door. There's a self confidence and assurance that if I'm going to put my name to this, it's going to be done. It's going to be done right.
Yep.
But there's
Yep.
also a level of being able to work together, have hard conversations, make unpopular decisions, and then execute. That I think that's the sort of flow of our conversation here today.
That's it. That's it. And that,
You're
you can
exactly right.
always tell, like there's a guy, BV Jagadish, who I went to go work for first out of my first tech job at NetScaler back in 2001, serial entrepreneur, just an amazing human being, perfect blend of
Yeah.
leader, entrepreneur. And, now that he's made however much, he's giving back, right?
Yeah.
He's that type of guy that now he's spending a lot of his time giving back. That's the mark of I also think a mark of a true leader as well too. Sorry, I
So
think I cut
true.
you off there.
No, beautifully said. Absolutely beautifully said. Well, Justin, we're 4 minutes over, but this was so worth it. I would love to have you back, because I do want to talk about things like ROI and time to value. Those are important too. But
I
right now
got
we need
input
to
on that
get ready to-
stuff. That's also a space that's evolving quickly, and we're doing some very cool stuff for value assessments and ROI at ThousandEyes within Cisco as well. And I'd love to talk to you about it. But anything you need, Sabrina, I am here for you.
There's that customer satisfaction that you're known for. Well,
That's
thank
right.
you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Partner first. Yeah. Partner forward. No, truly, thank you for this because like
yeah.
I said, I think so much of this leadership um, foundation we know, but it's important to be reminded and to look at it with the entire lens. Sometimes we got to zoom out a little bit and really understand what's the core, what's the foundation, and activate that. Otherwise,
Yep.
the rest kind of gets murky. It makes decisions
Right.
easier. So thank you for this. I appreciate it.
Happy Friday.
Happy
Have a great
Friday.
weekend.
All
I'll
right.
see you soon.
See you
Okay.
next time. Bye.
Bye.